All right, it is Wednesday, April 1st. It's April Fool's Day, baby.
It is.
This podcast has been cursed, but it's okay. We figured out what's going on. We tried to record it over 3 different days due to some technical difficulties, but fuck it. We're starting all over. Starting with the vinyl vibe, courtesy of Earth, Wind, and Fire. This one goes out to all my essential motherfuckers out there, keeping it on point. You out there shining like a star. Enjoy some Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let's see. Picking up what I'm laying down there. That's what I think what it was. We recorded this podcast on Monday.
Yes.
And what happened? What the computer kept crashing.
Right.
Right. And then when I finally got it back up, because I think what happened was my dance moves like were just a little too much.
They were way too hot.
They were a little too much. We got the new setup, and I had it all feeding into the computer to where the video's synced up with the audio, and I don't have to do any extra editing and all that bullshit. And it melted the computer. When I got it back up, I forgot to plug the mixing board in, so then we recorded an entire episode.
No sound.
With no sound.
Yeah.
And it was good, and it was heartfelt, and it was honest. And then we tried. Then we're like, "Fuck it, we're gonna redo it on Tuesday."
Yes.
And we redid it on Tuesday. We even got to use a different laptop that we have.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mute a couple sounds. And then what happened was we were now having reverb, like it recorded on 2 different mics.
So there's like an echo.
It is. So I'm using a new software called OBS. I don't know what it stands for, but that's what it's called. And gamers use it to like record their like video game capture. Like if your kids watch those video game things, like so. Yeah, that's what apparently this is like made for. Yeah, so now you can see all our facial reactions, and I even did this cool thing where like I figured out like if I do that, like for those of y'all watching, like I'm jetting my hand at like it's almost like 3D. I started thinking, right, because like I'm all full of ideas right now. Like how could I like be like the world's first 3D podcast? But then immediately I talked myself out of it because I was like, why the fuck would somebody want to watch a 3D podcast? Like, have you ever been sitting there watching the Joe Rogan Experience, be like, you know what, I really wish I could get like a depth perception,
well,
like,
yeah, because
for a sense of where everybody's at in the room.
Well, yeah, because if you really like a podcast, would it like sometimes you're like, man, I wish I could sit in on that podcast.
I guess now that's where virtual reality is going to set in, right? We're going to want it to be like 3D. If I can maybe have like a VR comedy club where you can actually like look around and get the experience.
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Of seeing the person on stage, and what if your like seat's actually further back like from the stage than somebody else's, and you can kind of get a feel for where everyone's in the room, and yet somehow like the microphones picked up everyone's laughter, and it's like so you can hear collective. I think I just invented like a virtual reality comedy club.
You worked it out.
Let's get on it, yo! Somebody, Apple, somebody call me. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. I don't know. There's tech guys out there. Why is the dog all up
I have no idea.
Your lap? You want to get on camera too? Look at Dookie. Look at Duker. Look at Duker, everybody. That's Duke.
So sweet.
Yeah, that's our sweet boy. He's gotten so much more affectionate since we've been on lockdown, has he not?
Yes, he really has.
Duke is very. He's a rescue.
Yes.
For one, both of our dogs are rescues.
Yes.
He's not the affectionate out of the 2. He doesn't.
Not at all.
He doesn't give kisses. He doesn't snuggle a lot. He likes to be petted
when he wants
but
it.
On his terms. Right. He'll come to you and he'll kind of paw at you, and we've just kind of given him his space, and we let it, that's the way he is, and
that's him,
and we don't know what happened to him before he got to us, and but lately I've noticed like today, like he actually came and laid his head in my lap to be petted, which is not usual. Usually he stands about as far away from me as he can possibly be.
Like arm's length.
Arm's length, like just close enough for me to like be able to pet him. And then if I stop, he'll paw at my hand again to like keep going. But I'm like, no, dude, my arm's tired. Like, you're gonna have to get closer. And today he finally did that. He came and laid in my lap, and so I feel like the fact that we're here so much, more like to us it doesn't matter as pets, right? Because we think like, oh well, we get up, we go to work, they're here for 8 hours a day by themselves. But I feel like maybe he was missing that extra connection, like oh, they're here all the time,
like a new level of trust, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he had a little fear of abandonment, and he wasn't allowing himself to fully trust us because of that. I don't know. Like, I'm no dog psychologist. I don't know if I've ever clearly stated that on the podcast. Okay, but I want to be very clear. I am not licensed in animal psychology. The comments and statements heretofore made within the podcast do not qualify as any kind of diagnosis or advice. But
cover all those bases.
Just psychoanalyzing. What other podcasts do you know like will psychoanalyze dogs? Within the first 5 minutes of the show.
I mean, it is what it is, babe.
Getting comfy here, getting settled in. It's April Fool's.
Yes, it is.
It's about 10:44 at night. We've now recorded this podcast 4 times.
It is ridiculous.
It's like we're stuck in Groundhog Day, the movie, because we're just waking up, we're staying in the house every day, and then at night we're like, hey, let's go have the exact same conversation that we had last night, but let's do it like as if we haven't had it. It's impossible. Yeah. I don't know why we were trying to do it that way.
I don't know.
But basically, because I think what I got in my head, and I'm like, how am I possibly going, like, I haven't done anything different. Yeah. It's weird how much of this podcast thing relies on you going out and doing stuff. And I knew that as a comedian, because I always tell that's my biggest piece of advice to anybody is, if you want to continue doing comedy and you want to always have something new to talk about, you got to live a life outside of comedy. And that's a mistake that you make very young in the game. I feel like I can say that because today's my comedy anniversary. Today's my 9th year, marks my 9th year doing stand-up comedy. So I feel like I'm not an upperclassman. I'm not a veteran. I definitely haven't made it, but I'm like, I've seen some shit. I've seen some combat. I've fought some of the battles. I haven't paid all my dues, but I made some down payments on that bitch. Like just 15 more payments and this shit's all mine.
Just 15?
Yeah. They say 15 years or 6 years. I guess 15 years is where they say the comics really start feeling like they know what the fuck they're doing. Okay. I'm all right. I would say like I'm like I don't know what skill level I would say I'm at. I definitely I don't believe I'm at my peak. Okay. I don't think I've met my final comedy form. I know that much. I think I'm excited, especially with this break, getting to write and talk about a lot of different stuff. This whole pandemic thing is going to give us a whole lot of material to visit.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's a lot because we're gonna the human psyche is going to change a lot. So when that happens, there's so much to unpack, and that's what comics get to do. We get to say the shit that we're all thinking and not saying, and try to do it in a funny way where it makes it acceptable, right? Like, hey, we've all had this thought. No one wants to say it. The guy on the microphone, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it in a funny way, so that way it's not scary anymore, right? Because we've said it. We've all thought it. We've all thought it, and now we all know that we've thought it because we've all laughed at it. Yeah. And so it's not this big, bad, scary thing anymore. Yeah. Right? That's the psychology behind comedy being a coping mechanism. Is what it is. It makes it not as daunting, and I hope some of y'all have noticed, one iteration of this episode that we did last night, I kind of was making a lot of jokes about the situation, and definitely I understand and respect some people aren't in the place right now where they can joke about this. I understand like half the population is there. They don't want to joke about it.
Right.
They want just the facts. They want information. They're in survival mode.
Right. They're just living.
The people doing the memes and making the jokes, understand they are in survival mode too. The only way they can cope with this is to laugh at it, like and I like to think, as a comedian, we represent those people. Those are the people that are listening to a comedy podcast right now. It's why I think I'm gonna take some licenses here in this episode and future episodes to kind of look at the lighter side of what's going on, and try to farm that out, and hopefully it'll be material that gets to get to the stage. I think a lot of bad material is going to come from it too, across the board for comedians. There's going to be the tendency to do the hacky stuff and whatever,
right? Which is expected.
Yeah. Oh, I just got out of quarantine, and boy, are my arms tired.
Yeah.
Right, because you jerked off a lot.
Yeah.
We're going to hear a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of jokes about how much you jerked off while you were like, I already can imagine the hacky jokes that are going to happen.
Okay.
Like that, like jokes about jerking off too much, jokes about whatever, fights with the wife.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Like all that's going to, that's going to be what we call low hanging fruit.
Okay.
Right. So what I'm excited about is I know that's going to be out there, and we're all going to, I might even say a couple of them.
Right.
It's in the process of trying to dig deeper into really unpacking it. Right. And, but I'm excited to see what some of the comics that I like, that I really respect and enjoy and am fans of, like that. And the reason why good comics are so good is because they're the good ones that go beyond the surface. They dig deeper. They find the stuff that nobody's said, or even if they said it, find a different way to say it that hasn't been said before. Right. Even if it's the same material, they craft it a little bit differently. So like I'm excited to get to hear Bill Burr, how he processes this and how he makes this funny, because essentially, like I was saying earlier, when we were talking about it, the interesting thing about this is comedy is born out of tragedy, and usually it's either an individual or something you experienced with a close group, but this is a shared global tragedy. Yeah. Like so much of the world is experiencing the same thing at roughly about the same time. Yeah. So now, should I am ever blessed enough to go years from now and do comedy in Italy, and I want to do a joke about this pandemic, because enough time has passed, and we're all better and safe, and life's kind of returned to some type of normalcy, whatever normalcy is going to look like after this. Right. But it's there, and we can laugh at it again. They will know what I'm talking about. It won't be something that they have read or heard about through American television or the media. They experienced it. They experienced it very much the same way that we did. So we have now a shared global experience, and this can be something that actually unifies us versus something that divides us, which is weird that it took something so destructive and horrible to do that. I'm hopeful to go back to a couple episodes ago and answer Aaron Suarez's. That's my whole mood against this. I am hopeful that it will come out better and stronger because of this, so that I can continue to do what I love to do, which is get on stage and make people laugh. I just want to hear people laugh again. You know, I'm hoping you're laughing at this, but I don't get to hear you laugh. Like, to me, that's invaluable. Okay. That's why I don't do the live shows. People have asked when are you going to do a live show? And maybe it's selfish of me, but that to me, it's a symbiotic relationship. I'm getting up there to make you laugh, but I need your laughter.
You need that as much feedback.
Right. That's why I do it. That's what the drug is. Like, getting up there and hearing people in unison laugh at your words, at your thoughts. There's nothing better than it. And I'm trying not to get too sappy for y'all on it, but to understand kind of what I've been going through lately, you know, not being able to do what I've done. This is in 9 years of doing comedy. You know, as I said in the Aaron Suarez interview, this is the longest. Yeah. This right here on my anniversary is the longest that I have been without a microphone in my hand on a stage in front of people. I don't care. It doesn't matter how many people, 4 people, 3 people, 2 people, 200, 2,000. It doesn't matter.
Just performing.
It's just performing in any capacity. An open mic, a paid show. I've done nothing. This is the longest that I've gone not being in front of an audience. You know, so it's been an emotional. This has been probably the longest 3 weeks of my life. You know, what helped last week is that we had the boys here.
Yes,
we had our sons here. They came over.
They were quarantined with us.
They came in quarantine with us. We're not only co-parenting, but we're quarantine co-parents, and that is that kind of like gave me like a little anxiety, right?
It was a little nerve-wracking
because I didn't even know, because this is uncharted territory, right? All rules are out the window. I was like, am I supposed to go get them? Like, yeah, like, because the virus doesn't care. Right? We were in a co-parenting situation. Like, oh, wait, don't infect them. They had to go get the kids. Don't
skip that one.
Skip that one. They had to go. They didn't go out for fun. They had to go. You know, so I'm like, like, should I just like? And then they were saying like, oh, is it going to shut down? Right? And you're not going to be able to go anywhere without a permit or whatever.
Right,
like, how,
sort of
at what you're right. At what level of like restrictions are we really talking about here, and to what extent is it going to be enforced? You know, are they going to be?
Because at that point we had no idea.
Is there going to be Gestapo out in the street? Like, what? Okay, how restricted is restricted? You know? Right. You know, and for the most part, it's just been very strong suggestion, like
stay at home,
like stay at home, man. We're gonna fine you monetary, like, hey, we're gonna fine you, dude, if we find you out there, you know. And what was I saying? I was
oh shoot, I don't know. I'm sorry, I got focused on what you were saying.
Focused on what I was saying to me, but I was making a point. I was making a point.
You're gonna come back to
about the boys. I was saying like,
that we got the boys,
because this is new. We haven't talked about this before, so I'm keeping it fresh for y'all. So the boys, like, I was actually in bed. I was actually researching. Like, I was like, okay, cities that are on lockdown, how is that affecting? Yeah. You know, and they were basically saying it's up to the parents. You'll have to discuss it and kind of figure it out. Yeah. On your own. And if you have they encourage you, if you have a good relationship with your co-parent, which we do. Right. Then the best thing is just to talk about it. Just
and work it out.
And to kind of make sure, because everyone's the thing is, like, there's a big sliding scale. Everyone's taking their version of serious.
Yeah, like you assume, like I would assume we're on lockdown or not lockdown. We're at stay at home. Everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's having the same kind of precautions, but they're not. No. Like, we're seeing on Facebook that people are still going to birthday parties. Right. Like,
some people are still having birthday parties. Yeah. And they're like, oh, it's cool. It's under 10 people. No, that's a suggestion. That's a rough about number. Like, the idea for us, the way we're treating it is we're having contact with as little amount of different people as possible.
Yeah.
Like even your parents.
Yeah. We haven't.
You know,
seen
they
them.
wanted to, but it's like no, because the way it works is, you know, we went somewhere. You know, we had to go to the store or whatever, but you also went to the store,
right?
So now that you just exponentially grew your chances of getting exposed to something right now. Like, so with every person you come in contact, and it doesn't care. It doesn't care if it's your kids that had to go live in a house or whatever, or your parents that just wanted to see their grandchild. There was a meme that went on, and it was funny and yet tragic at the same time, because I immediately understood what it meant. Which is, it said, Mexicans think that social distancing means only kick it with people that you know.
Yes, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yes.
Hilarious, because I instantly knew the people. Like, I got a picture of the people. I've seen them on social media. This and it doesn't matter,
right?
Because you don't know. The person doesn't know. It's not even a trust thing. Like, oh, I trust them. No, I'm sure you trust them, but they don't know. They have no way of knowing if they've picked it up. You can have this thing for like 2 weeks without knowing that you've
any
gotten
symptoms,
it. Right, before you show any kind of symptoms. That's the part, like, you don't know. You don't know. You won't find out until it's too late.
Right. So
I asked you at one point, I think when this all started, I said, so what happens if one of us gets it? Like, do I go stay somewhere else separate from the family? And you're the one where I think it's pretty much assumed, like, by the point that you've gotten it and started to show symptoms, pretty much everyone in your house has it
by
too.
By that point, there's no.
You know, that's just the way it works. You know,
it's unfortunate, but yeah. But then I did say, well, I guess we would try to separate, but then it would kind of just be pointless.
It would be. So I think you're supposed to then try to just quarantine yourself in your house. So so basically, I would keep like let's say it would be me, right? And maybe y'all haven't even talked about this in your own home.
Oh yeah, like the plan.
Like what's the plan if one of us in this house gets it and has to self quarantine from everybody else?
Yeah,
I get the bedroom.
I mean, I think you would have to, right? Because you would be sick, and so you need that space.
Okay, do I get a bell?
Fuck no.
So I'm gonna come out to get my own food,
babe. But like you'll have like warning.
Babe, I think coronavirus. Like, if I got it, like, I think I get a bell.
Babe, no.
Like, and I had to stay in the room. Like, you don't want me coming out. Like, no, like a bell, and then like you would bring it, like, you doorstep, like, favor. Like, you would come and put it outside the door, and then I would. You knock, and I come get it, and then I eat, and then, like, with the plate, what I do is I keep some Dawn in there, and I'd wash the plate while I'm in there, and then I put it out back for you, and ring the bell again to let you know that my dishes were ready to get picked up.
For me to then
and I have you have the own bathroom in there. I mean, not just for me, babe. I'm saying, like, what like heaven forbid that you you get a bell too,
babe. No, I think you might not hear my bell sometimes, babe.
I mean, I would hear it, but like like sometimes I'm like doing something, like I would get to you, like. Because I don't get your text. I think that's why I wouldn't say just text, because I miss your text all the time. Yeah, I think a bell. I think I'm more likely to hear.
I don't know, because you've been doing headphones a lot.
But I do headphones because you're out here too, watching TV and stuff. If you were back there quarantined, I wouldn't have the headphones on.
Oh,
babe.
I mean,
I got this worked out. Like I
see.
Listen, get yourself, next time you go out on one of your necessary only shopping excursions. Get yourself a quarantine bell. This is the shit people aren't talking about right now. This is what you come to the Original Gordito podcast for. We're talking about the stuff that people aren't talking about, right? Contingency plan. Worst case scenario.
A bell. You know what?
You know what I'm saying? Like, babe, I'm saying right now, on air, on the podcast, if I turn into a corona zombie, like, you gotta, like...
Oh, babe, I'm shooting you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I just wanted you to make... Like, I know... Wait, you kind of said that kind of quick, though.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. I was trying to give you permission, but I didn't expect you to, like...
There's no doubt.
I didn't expect you to, like, so quickly...
No doubt.
Like, some resistance, man. Like, a little bit of... Like, you wouldn't hesitate, like...
Nope.
Like, but it's still him. It's still kind of him, but like it's not him. But
babe, I got that little girl right there, babe. You going?
Okay, well, I mean, apparently she didn't need permission, but you had. Like, this is the stuff you need to be talking about. Worst case scenario, like, you need to tell your spouse, hey, listen, it's okay to shove a stake through my heart if I turn into a blood-sucking corona vampire zombie. If that's what happens. Like, contingency plans. All right, that's the homework for the week. Get you know.
Hashtag contingency plans.
Yeah, I think that's the world where we're gonna live. We're gonna have pandemic drills now.
Oh fuck, we are, babe.
You know what I'm saying,
babe?
It's a new reality, man. We gotta practice for this stuff.
You right.
You know what though? It did get me thinking, like, the first like week or two, when like everyone was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be productive and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna use this time to better myself and I'm working on me and da da da." I was like, you know, we should do this every year. Like, just for like just wouldn't that be fucking look at environmentally, right? Have you seen those, like the ones that are like showing like Mother Nature's, you know, healing herself and using this time, and because pollution is down and everything, and it's like, oh, that's great, and it's a beautiful positive image. It's like, yeah, we should just do that, like surely, like, why can't they just figure that out? Just be like, hey, 2 weeks globally, we're just not gonna do shit.
We just need to stop.
Like, no money's gonna exchange hands. Just get what the fuck you need and just stay the fuck home. Like, everyone just chill. Don't go nowhere. We're not gonna drive no cars. We're not gonna do nothing. You know, we'll have the hospitals open. We'll keep those open. We'll keep the cops out there just in case some shit. But other than that, everyone just go the fuck home.
Yeah,
we're not
just
doing
a little
shit.
reset.
We're closed. Can we close down the world for like 2 weeks every year?
Okay, let's try to make it happen.
And give the world a Coke and a smile? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I would love the world to take a 2-week vacation together every year. But for not because of a sickness, though. That's the part. Like, that's the only bad part.
Yeah.
Like, if you took the sickness away and you told people, like, hey, just chill at your house for 2 weeks.
It would be so awesome.
Be like, fuck yeah. But it's the part about getting sick that fucking makes it suck. It's the bad part about pandemics. If we could have somehow pandemics without getting sick, I think that's the key. That's the kind of outside the box thinking that you come to this podcast
for. You're so smart, babe.
You heard it here first. Javi says the bad thing about pandemics is people getting sick. Other than that, it's fucking party, man. Shit. Fucking doing crossword puzzles. I've done like 3 Sudoku books.
I've done a lot of reading.
You have.
Oh my gosh, You're been one of those
productive quarantiners that just I love y'all so much.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I'm out there delivering food.
Yeah.
10 hours a day.
Uh-huh.
And I got down on myself last week. Mm-hmm. Because remember, did we talk about it on last week's podcast? I got up here and I wrote a whole bunch of like quarantine content that I wanted to get out, and I'm gonna get out an extra episode every week, and I'm gonna write a web series, and I'm gonna do an offshoot of the podcast, and I realized like I don't have, this is like, I'm a busy fucking quarantiner, like, and I think like there's half the world, there's half the people that are home like, I'm so bored, I don't know what else to do, I'm eating all my snacks. And there's people that are like still working either from home or out there, but you're still working. It's like, you're no less busy here than you were. So you're not getting that extra time. Like, I don't have extra time to read or to edit video than I did before. If anything, I probably have less. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, you definitely work a lot more hours. Like,
because I'm working for a fraction of my income, so I'm having to work, twice as much.
Right. Like me, I think, because I'm able to work from home.
Right.
But having Lindsay like literally like glued to my hip all day, every day is also a lot of work too. But it's like a different kind of work. I don't know if that makes sense.
It is. And I think that's okay to admit. I mean, you're definitely working from home and working remotely, especially right now, because it's all new. I mean, you're probably, the stress of the workplace isn't there. Thank God, because you have this whole new stress to worry about. So the workplace dynamics aren't as big. You're probably hour for hour not working as many.
Probably not
as you typically would,
right? Which has allowed me like that little extra time to read. Yeah, for sure.
And the fact that you're not getting up and getting dressed to go somewhere, and do something, and having to commute, all that comes into play, into that time that extra time that translates to extra time, extra energy. You didn't have to take the baby to daycare. So I'm glad that you're getting some extra time. I started to then feel bad though because of my lack of time. Like I started to feel, it was a weird thing, like even though I was working all day every day, I started to feel lazy and then be down on myself for being lazy, because like I'm not producing anything right now. I'm not producing any quarantine content right now, and everyone's putting out all this extra stuff because they have the time to do it, and maybe they have a little bit less responsibilities than I have, and that's okay. That's nothing new. In 9 years of comedy, that's been a strength as well as it's both a positive and a negative, because I feel like it's made me more ambitious as a comic. I didn't have the time to just fucking, I'm gonna go get drunk and get high and fucking do comedy, and I was always a father before I ever started comedy. Right. So when I came into this, I was about like, either this is going to be something that I can make a career out of, or it's a waste of my time. As much as I enjoy it, not a waste of my time, because but I'm only going to put as much energy into it as much as I can justify taking the time that it would take away from my family. Right. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to go to the valley for gas money and miss my son's baseball game. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that puts it over the top. Like
prioritize.
Right. That was the way I would prioritize my first couple years, especially when any money I did make comedy was just extra money because I had my full-time job. Whenever it would take me away for a couple of days or whatever from Josh, I would always make it a point to do something fun with him with the money that I earned from it, to kind of put that quality back into his life. We'd go to Peter Piper's or a movie, or he'd get a new toy or something like that. Now, as comedy's become more of my main source of income. Hold on. It's not extra money now that I brought it home. This is the car payment that I got this weekend. Is what this is. So I got down on myself, and I did want to, I think last night we were talking about it when we did this. I wanted to urge people to kind of keep the. If you haven't, like I said, we got to start thinking long term on this thing. The schools now we're here another month.
For sure.
We're not even halfway to this.
Not even halfway.
I think right now the biggest problem is I'm bored. I'm not making as much money. I'm having to do this or having to do something else. The mental fuck of the Rona, I've met that bitch.
Yeah.
Rona mentally fucked me last week hard into thinking that I wasn't doing enough when I was, working crazy hours. Yeah. Basically from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
She's gonna do that to you, because it's just an in your face thing. We can't escape it.
It's everywhere.
I was listening to Marisol's podcast, and she had the same problem that we had. She wanted to try not to talk about it. There's no way. It's everywhere. Even by not talking about it, you are talking about it.
Yeah.
It's on
where we're at.
It's on the brain right now. So the best we could do is try to keep it light. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I was mentioning about the jokes, and everyone copes with it differently, and some people are. I've seen some funny stuff out there. I keep trying to make some jokes on my Facebook. I think some people seem to be enjoying them. I haven't looked to see if I've lost anybody from that. I'm sure that there's people out there that are not appreciative of the Corona humor
because they might have a different experience.
Because they have a different experiences, because it's really just put them in a bad place right now. Please, like I said, if I joked about it on here and it's upsetting you, I'm not trying to get a shock out of it. This is just the way I'm processing it. This is the way I think a lot of other people are processing it. If you have to stop listening for a while because this is the way that I'm dealing with it, then I understand. When all this is over, I hope you come back. Mm-hmm. And that's just where we're at. I do have goals though. I have a web series that I want to write.
Yeah. And
shoot with our oldest son Josh. I think it's gonna be fun. But I'm trying to take the pressure off. Like what
do you mean?
Like as far as it'll get done when it gets done, if it gets done. If I'm trying to work on myself during this quarantine, that's the part, because I feel like I'm really bad about getting down on myself when I don't like saying that I'm going to do something and not getting it done, and not getting it done when I say it's going to get done. Do
you think that your timelines are realistic?
I think they are, but sometimes I don't take other factors into consideration, and I think no, it's totally realistic. Here's what I think. I don't take into consideration that I'm not a fucking machine.
Yes.
Right. I'm not even an entirely healthy person to say that I have the energy levels for the amount that I try to.
Yes.
To work. So I don't take into fact my fatigue. Mm-hmm. Right. I think no, it's totally normal for me to think that I'm going to go work 14 hours a day or 12 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Come home. Play with the kids, do homework, help cook dinner, or wash the dishes. Yeah. Put them to bed. Oh yeah, and then I'm going to spend 2 hours writing the fucking most hilarious shit. Well, no, my brain's fucking fried. Yeah. By 9-10 o'clock at night to then go and ask myself to go into a creative mode. Some nights I can do it. some nights I'm like, I can't. I can't do it. I can't. My mind won't even go there. It won't allow me to do it, and I have to take that into consideration. Like, hey, like if like it's not going to be realistic for you to do work on something 4 hours out of the day. So what I did today is I took the day off.
Yes.
And I said Wednesday is going to be my day to create stuff. I finished editing episode 7 of the vlog.
Nice.
I kind of did this setup. We finally got the podcast out, and those are my victories. Anything that I get to do, get to put out, those are the victories. So I'm going to try to write a web series. I have an idea. I think it's funny. I'm going to keep it short.
I'm excited.
I think it's something I can shoot simply. And we're going to see. I want to put out my album from what was it, 6-7 years ago. I think I had been doing comedy like 2 years in. So if you started watching me back like in 2013, it's probably material that you liked. I don't do it anymore. I haven't done it in years. And it's here, and I can make it available digitally. I've never done that before. I used to sell just CDRs of it after shows. And I used to just take donations for it, and I'll probably do that the same. If you want to donate for it, great. If you just want to download it and enjoy it, that's cool too. It's nothing that, I absorbed the cost that it was to produce that a long time ago.
Right.
So
well, that's cool because that's going to be like nostalgic.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to kind of, since I can't celebrate that's going to be my way of celebrating my anniversary, since I can't do it on stage for the foreseeable future. We're looking at least a month and a half.
Yeah.
I think everything that I have is canceled till the middle of May. That's why I was kind of like chuckling with like the schools when y'all were like, oh my God, no, he said the 12th. Now the 30th. Now not till May. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like we knew this. It's not a surprise. Like we all knew this was happening.
Yes, but just black and white. I don't know, baby. Just to see it on black and white, it just made a difference. I don't know. I don't know why. It just made a difference.
How have you felt with the whole homeschooling thing? Like getting to homeschool the kids and being a teacher yourself. Is there anything? Is it?
At first, I was excited. And then I got extremely stressed out.
What stressed you out?
Because GP does things way different than what I'm used to with CCISD. And so this whole virtual learning and virtual teaching is new to all of us.
Right.
And so we're trying to learn new things and try to figure it out. And we're messing up and, trying to just make sure everyone gets what they need. And then now I have to try to learn how to do the boys stuff, and they do it a different way. And it's just, it was a lot. But I feel like we finally got into our groove. Like we had a little system.
We had a routine. You had the little folder, or their mom sent them with the folder.
Yes, but she had it started for us, so we were ready.
Right. So the difference is what you get to kind of see is, so our boys, they live with their mom in a different town and go to a different school district.
Yeah.
Than the one that you work for.
Right.
So it's different. So they're not using exactly the same software.
Right.
They're using different programs and different websites. So you're having to
learn all that.
Navigate that. So you're kind of getting to see both sides of it.
Yeah.
You're getting to see the teachers and all the work that they're putting in. Right. So that's a big thing, to acknowledge, because teachers, they're not, just because they're not at school, they're not working. They are working their asses off,
busting their asses.
They are learning. So they're stepping up to the learning curve. They're learning how to teach differently in this new way, in this new medium. Some of them have more to learn than others. Some of them have already been adopting technology, and it's probably a little easier for them. Yeah. And the cool part is some of the older ones that maybe have been resistant to using technology in the classroom, they're having to learn a lot more. But I think everyone's kind of, from what I've seen, from what I've gotten to hear from meetings, it seems like everyone's kind of pitching in, like, I don't know how to do this. Well, I know how to do that. I can help you, do that. This is how I did mine, And you even talked about one of your coworkers has a mother that's like 72 years old, teaching in New Mexico, and having to learn how to now become a virtual educator.
Yes,
Like
it's
that's-
insane.
You know, so they are working their asses off,
Yeah,
earning their paycheck
Yes.
every inch of the way because they're basically having to create a whole new way of doing education. Parents are having to step up in a way that they've never had to. Completely understanding now what their child's learning issues are, even if they don't have a learning disability per se. We all learn differently, and you're getting to know more about your child and how they work and how they learn and what environment they thrive in, what they're good at, what they're not, what they're not good at,
what they enjoy working on, and what they're like, oh my gosh, this teacher just likes to make me mad.
I never knew my son was such a killer in language arts and writing.
He rocked that shit.
He
rocked that shit. His English teacher emailed me, and she was like, oh, it was great, thank you. He turned in all of his assignments. He got 100 on everything. He has 100 right now in ELER, and I was like, oh my god, because he rocked that shit. Right. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. It felt good to see that, because that was always my forte. I could write a paper like a motherfucker. Like I didn't even have to read the book half the time.
Yeah.
So it felt kind of cool to know that he kind of...
And he whipped it out like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Just...
It's nothing. It's second nature to...
Yeah.
And probably because of that, if he's anything like me, it was always kind of boring. Kind of because of that, because it was like, I don't really have to read this book. Like, I can kind of just bullshit my way through it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of it's a curse, and it's not to have that gift of just knowing how to use words and craft them. That's why I do want to make some reading time. I still have I've been trying to read George Carlin's book all year.
Yeah.
Because I normally only read in the airport or on the plane, and then I stopped flying. I started driving more, and you can't do that. You can't read and drive at the same time. No. It's frowned upon.
I mean, just a little bit.
So
just a little bit.
I tried it a couple times. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. But yeah, that was his. I know that about him until I started reading the book. I mean, I got the sense, but to hear him explicitly say that the love that he has for the spoken word, and how as far as learning about oration and public speaking, it's something that always came very naturally to me. But something that I as I got older, I wanted to understand the science behind it. Like, I love comedy as an art, but I very much am fascinated by the science of it, of putting a joke together, and the psychology behind it.
Yeah.
And I have quarantine books. Like, people are like out there recommending, like, these aren't for y'all. Y'all probably wouldn't enjoy these, but like, this is I got this a while back. This is The Power of Mental Demand and Other Essays. It's a collection of essays that apparently it was George Carlin's father's favorite book, or favorite collection of essays that he made George study as a young man. And what he says is the only positive thing he ever got from his father.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading that after I finish George Carlin's book.
Nice.
Yeah.
You are prepared.
I am prepared for this. I have been waiting for time off. But I'm essential.
Yes, you are.
So I'm going to have to learn how to
do a little balance.
I'm quarantining on the weekends.
There you go. Yes. I like that.
That's what and on Wednesdays.
Yes.
That's the plan.
I like
for
that
right now.
But
we have gotten some Netflixing done.
We did.
Yep.
Yes.
We've got to finally finish On My Block season 3.
Yes.
What did you think? Tell the people. I know you've told me before, but tell them.
At first, it was really hard for me to get into it. I found myself on my phone a lot, and so I wasn't really paying attention to the story. It was just kind of blah, like whatever.
Okay.
But then I don't know what happened in episode 4 or 5 that drew me back in and got me all excited. But I think all in all, I really liked just the development of all the characters during this season. like I personally enjoyed like the development of Spooky's character. There is something about Spooky Man I just like.
Well, one, you think he's cute.
I mean,
like you get the goo eyes under control,
babe.
I mean, it's
like something just like I don't know what it is.
I get it. Okay, kind of.
Sorry, I'm just saying. Okay,
so.
That I like the development of his character because it gave you like
wipe your seat down or something. After this, you're sliding out of your chair right now. Don't be rude.
No, but they did also go into depth with his character, and I did like to learn.
They followed the cardinal rule. You know, I take everything back to the dissecting of the writing of it. Right, the cardinal rule in writing anything like that is everybody arcs. Everybody arcs. If they're main character, they got to go from point A to point B. Something's got to change. Everyone's got to learn. That's what the well written thing. Every character's got to learn something. Got to go through a transition.
They have to develop.
They have to develop. And the shows that we end up liking when you like that, all the characters went through a change. They all went through a metamorphosis. They all lost something. They all gained something. And that's what these characters did. They all grew up in these last.
They did
3 seasons. To get to watch that, and now it looks like season 4. We're gonna get to see them a couple years. Later,
and see what really. Things are really like. I'm excited, but I don't think it's going to be like top of my list excited.
Yeah, one of the things I've said is that I was excited about this season was, and I know when we talked about it, but when we first found the show about season 1, I talked about their acting, and they've all gotten so much better in their acting, whether it be just because of experience of being on a show, if they've been getting additional coaching or whatever, or help, it's like acting is like any other craft. You never stop learning. Like you never stop working at it. Or at least you should. If you're an actual craftsman, you don't stop. You keep learning. You keep taking classes, getting coaching, evolving. Learning from experiences. And that's what it seems like they've done. The kid that plays the Ruby character, he's really gotten hold of his overacting a lot. He's in a lot more control of his emotions. His lines are coming across more genuine.
He doesn't seem fake.
Right, he doesn't seem as fake. Like he was like trying too hard to be the comic relief. In the first one, and part of that is they beautifully wrote his character, right? Because his character almost died in, was it season 1 or season 2? And that's that's instant, character development right there.
For
like
sure.
You don't go through something like that, and for them to write
and not change,
write that, and dealing with the anxiety and all that he has to deal with because of that. So. They did one thing that I'm weary of, because the weakest actor in the bunch, which is the kid that plays Caesar, is now going to be like this, like the gang leader now, right? He went from being like the good kid that they were trying to keep him out of, and he ended up
like he could go either
not even
way.
Joining the gang, leading the gang,
right?
And I don't know if the kid's got the acting chops to pull that transition off.
You really don't?
To be a believable gang leader, to actually believe like, yeah, that guy looks like he's calling the shots. Is
I think they're gonna have to explain like what happened to his character to get to that point, but I think he could do it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, hopefully in a couple years. I mean, with this, all production of everything's getting delayed. Who knows how long? I mean, Hollywood's not producing anything right now.
Yeah.
Those productions take hundreds of people to make those work. So every show that was in every movie production, it's halted. It's not
Everyone's on pause.
It's not happening, and who knows how long it's going to take for all that shit to get rescheduled. So follow YouTubers because that's gonna be because eventually all this shit that they produce, it's gonna run out. It's gonna take them a while to get that fucking machine back up and running. So you might say, why are you gonna want to write a web series, Javi? Who's gonna watch it? You're gonna run out of shit eventually. Watch, and then you're gonna come looking for me.
You're gonna be like, what else is there?
What else is there to watch? That's what I'm creating content for. That's what I'm putting podcasts out for. We've also been enjoying the Little Dicky show.
Yes.
Called Dave. It's on FX. It comes out every Tuesday,
which is what I don't like, because I like to binge watch a show.
Didn't like it, but also I think right now I think it's nice to have something to look forward to weekly instead of more of the same.
But I feel like we had waited so long for the next episode, but it wasn't. It was just a week. I felt like it was so long. But it's good.
We have something to look forward to.
I mean, I guess
instead of just like that instant satisfaction of like I saw it all. Like, yeah, it's great, but we have those.
Yeah,
too.
That's true.
We have those shows to watch now, but we also have this one, so it's okay because we fill the time in between with all this other stuff that we're binging. Or
okay, so then when I wanted to watch the Bone Collector one.
Oh, we still need to go back to that one.
I know, but you were like, well, let's wait and let a couple episodes go by and then we can watch several in a row.
But that was pre-quarantine.
Oh, rules change?
The quarantine rules. Shit, we're not... You see, that's what some of y'all don't... Y'all trying to act like we living in the same world that we were in last month. Shit's samurai not... Reinvent yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world's gonna be different. Be you. Be the you that you want to be. That's all I'm saying. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I don't know how long the episode was, but I had fun.
I did too.
I'm so sorry that we got this out late to y'all guys. We tried a new technical setup. It happens. Shit
Life
get bogged
happens.
down. But we're gonna go back to Monday. Again, some weeks you might get a bonus episode, some weeks you might not. It depends. It depends how my essential ass is doing that week. All right, but we're gonna get through this together. Make sure you fucking wash your hands. Keep your ass at home. And one love.